Fellow Southern Cameroonians, my dear people of Amazonia, accept revolutionary greetings from me, John Bakuro, this Sunday, the 17th day of February in the year of our Lord 2019. Today, we are going to be addressing a very important subject matter. We will be talking about the All Southern Cameroons People's Conference that will take place in the United States of America in Washington, D.C. on the 22nd and 23rd of March 2019. But before I really get into this subject matter, I want to call on all Southern Cameroonians, wherever you are in the globe, to pray and call back home in Kumbo, call back home in Kimbo. I want to implore the entire world to pay attention to what is happening in Kumbo right now. At this time that I'm talking to you on this Sunday, February 17, 2019, at 11:20 a.m. Central Time, that is US time, the military of President Paul Biya is right now at the Shison Catholic Hospital in a serious attack and burn. So what am I saying? I'm saying there's an ongoing attack at this specific moment that I'm talking on the Shison Catholic Hospital, particularly around the cardiac center that is in Kumbo. And the assault is by the military of Mr. Paul Biya of Cameroon. That is in Bui County, in the northern zone. What the people of La République du Cameroon call Bui Division in the northwest region. If no care is taken, we are going to hear of cases of patients burnt alive again, as it was the case in Kumba, at the Kumba General Hospital, just a few days back, an arson which the government of La République du Cameroon pretended was not carried out by the military. Today, we have that same military at this specific point I'm talking. I mean, 11:20 a.m. Central Time. Check out. If you are a diplomat in Yaoundé, if you are the United Nations office in any of the agencies in Yaoundé, call Kumbo as I speak. Wherever you are in the world, call anyone in Kumbo and they'll give you eyewitness accounts that the military of La République du Cameroon is out there burning, burning the Shison Catholic Hospital, and their specific target is a cardiac center. This is very regrettable and shameful that the United Nations will sit by and watch Mr. Paul Biya's army violate even international conventions that concern war. If my knowledge of international relations doesn't fail me, it is clear on specifically my knowledge of international human and humanitarian law indicate to me that hospitals are not targets of attack. But Mr. Paul Biya's military has consistently and persistently carried out assaults on hospitals, burnt patients alive, killed medical personnel. And the only reason they give you is that they appear to be treating wounded soldiers. What a shame. That said, let me return to the subject matter of today's discussion. We issued a press statement at the end of this week, and that press statement was signed by 4 frontline liberation movements of the people of the Southern Cameroons. Well, there has been some little misinterpretation by some group, but I like to just take a very quick reading and do a little content analysis on the specific area queried for specific reasons, because it is important for us all to be on the same page as we move forward in prosecuting our revolution. It is also important for us to avoid the hypocritical game that will make us look like a quarrelsome people who do not understand what it means to live together, even when we disagree on certain issues. The people of Southern Cameroons, after this war is over, will live together as one people, even if we previously hold or currently hold different schools of thought on exactly what nature we want our country to take. This is the press statement. It reads, "We, the undersigned members of Southern Cameroon's liberation movements, met today, 14 February 2019 in Washington, D.C. to discuss progress towards the holding of the All Southern Cameroons People's Conference. At this meeting, we noted the following: that the open invitation to the conveners of the AGC extended through a delegation from Cameroon made up of Eli Smith and Reverend Dr. Godwin Cham during their recent visit to the United States of America was welcome. That during the visit mentioned above, the only item that was discussed was the need for all parties to meet in the United States of America within the framework of the conference. That the said conference will bring together Southern Cameroonians of all shades of opinion to work out lasting solutions to the Southern Cameroons problem, including bringing the ongoing genocidal war to an end. That the said conference has been scheduled for Friday 22 and Saturday 23 March 2019. That we are inviting international stakeholders to send observers to the conference, in witness whereof we have appended our signatures to this press statement. Elvis Kometa, Southern Cameroons National Council, SCNC, Dr. Ebenezer Derry Akwanga, APLM, Ambazonian People Liberation Movement, John Ba Akuro, the Consortium, and Herbert Yendo Bo Morisk, Movement for the Restoration of the Independence of the Southern Cameroons. And now on to the little mix-up. We saw a statement from the Ambazonia Governing Council, that is the AGC, of Dr. Cho Ayaba, denouncing us, the signatories of this document, for accepting an invitation from Cardinal Toomey and his AGC group. Without quarreling whether it's important to accept an invitation from anyone or not, in this circumstance, it wasn't even an invitation that we accepted. We extended an invitation. And so I think that one of two things happened. Either those who crafted that release and got the Dr. Ayabacho-led AGC signatories to append to that paper without noticing that they had simply misunderstood the linguistic framework of this document, or it was simply out of bad faith. But I think more that it should have been a problem of interpretation, because this statement reads clearly that the open invitation to the conveners of the AGC extended through a delegation from Cameroon made up of Eli Smith and Reverend Dr. Ncham was welcome. So we are saying that the open invitation extended to, not received. This is a clear indication that it is us extending the invitation to the Cardinal Toomey-led group, and that the said invitation was well received. It was welcomed by the Cardinal Toomey-led group. I think this is very unambiguous. Now, what exactly happened? Dr. Fontem Neba, Afoteka, came to the United States, initiated or brought up the idea of this conference, prepared a concept note, and got in touch with a good lot of the various stakeholders involved in our revolution to sell the idea of a meeting that will bring everyone together so that we try to at least begin to, reason how well to end the ongoing war declared on us by Mr. Paul Biya. And the various stakeholders, including the liberation movements, studied the concept note, realized it was a good idea. We had the opportunity to call Dr. Fontem, sit with him, exchange, and try to give more content. And in the end, we all bought the idea that it made a lot of sense to hold this all-important meeting. It coincided with a visit by a delegation sent to the United States by Cardinal Toomey to invite us or to talk to us about his own conference he intended to hold in Cameroon. And we took the opportunity to let his team know that it would rather make sense for them to send a delegation to the United States to join us, and we have a good conversation within the framework of the conference proposed by Dr. Fontem. And on that score, our proposal was well admitted, in which case we issued an invitation and it was well received and it was welcome. And then the liberation movements now deciding not just to be observers, not just to be the groups that have endorsed, but decided to fully participate, to give more content, to give greater shape, to give a bigger impetus. We decided, therefore, to be fully involved and to work together with Dr. Fontem and with all other partners to ensure that this meeting not only takes place, but that it becomes a great turning point in our revolution. There are few misunderstandings going on in our revolution. There is some confusion here and there, and there's been a lot of squabble, sometimes among groups or even within groups. And so this is an opportunity for us to sound a kind of important note where we will come sit together and try to rectify a few mistakes that have been committed in the past and see how to redirect our revolution. But most importantly, we should be able to have the opportunity to tell the world, as all Cameroonians, of all shades, as all Southern Cameroonians, I beg your pardon, of all shades of opinion, so that they know what we all think. And so, for those who have come up with some degree of animosity as to why we have to be unevenly yoked with federalists or unitarists, I have this message for you. Take note, when this war will be over, the people of Southern Cameroons will live together as one. Whether you were for independence, whether you were for federation, whether you were for the unitary state with La République du Cameroun, by the time this war is over and we have secured our independence, you are not going to be exiled. We're not going to chase anybody away that, no, you didn't agree with us, so you are no longer Southern Cameroonian. That is why it is important for us to begin to talk together. That is why it is important for us to begin to exchange with one another. And that is why it is important for us to continue to educate our people to the effect that the current situation demonstrates more than ever before that La République du Cameroun has never considered the people of Southern Cameroons as being part of their country. And there's a lot that we have to point out to make each and everyone understand that we are better off on our own than being in a murderous union with La République du Cameroun. At the start of this video, I talked to you about their barbarism in Kumbo, where they are burning down a hospital. These are not the kind of people with whom we can live. It's not going to be possible to live with them, but we must engage serious discussions with all the stakeholders in Southern Cameroons, so that at the end of the day, it is reason that triumphs, so that at the end of the day, we shall emerge as a strong, wonderful, and beautiful country. We are not going to begin another fight among ourselves after this war is over. We are rather going to put our heads together to see how to build our country and make it an enviable place, and make it a place to be, and make it an El Dorado, and make it a destination for all those who love to see splendor, peace, and concord around the world. That is the mission of this conference. And so I'm urging each and every one of us to make haste to be part of this all-important conference. And going back to the AGC, I want to point out that what we have seen on social media as being, some kind of disapproval from the AGC appears just to be the thought of some who were in a haste to send out a statement. Because I've had exchanges with other people within the AGC, particularly the Vice President of the AGC, Dr. Nye Julius, who has indicated that after looking at all the documents and after studying all the pros and the cons, it is obvious that the AGC, led by Comrade Cho Ayaba, would definitely, in the end, be part of this all-important conference. And I want to point out this, that at the same time that this document came out in condemnation, we also have received invitations from the AGC of Comrade Cho Ayaba, inviting us to some very private and important diplomatic meetings. At the same time, this same AGC is also inviting Cardinal Tumi to send at least 2 representatives to that meeting. This says it all, that perhaps it was just a mix-up in language, or it might just have been an intention to get a bit naughty. But that happens. And so I think that in the end, everything will fall in shape and all will be on board. And that I take this opportunity to announce also that Comrade Samuel Sako of the IG group has demonstrated, or rather has expressed his desire to, come on board, and has made clear that the IG will be part of this all-important conference. And right now, he's already joined the other stakeholders in the committee that has been put in place to work out modalities to ensure that we have a successful conference. And so we are hoping that in the days ahead, his organization, the interim government, will send out, a public statement to, confirm the moves that he has personally taken. Now, I urge all of us to put in all the efforts we can to make sure this rendezvous works. We, as a people of Southern Cameroons, are a people who are democratic by nature, peaceful by birth. And we are a people who are so development-oriented. Even within the framework of our state, and this unholy marriage with La République du Cameroun, the people of Southern Cameroons, through self-reliant development, demonstrated always that we are a people who are purposeful all the time, anytime we engage in anything worthwhile. So this conference will be another opportunity for us to prove to the world that we are not going to be pushovers. Thank you so much for taking the pains to listen to me. Have a great day.